What if a plane disappeared from the sky in 1955, and then suddenly appeared again, 37 years later? Imagine being a passenger on a flight. You take off, expecting to reach your destination in a few hours, but when you land, the airport looks completely different. The machines around you are from another era. The people are talking about a year you have never seen. And then someone tells you something impossible. You are no longer in 1955, you are in 1992. A story like this sounds like it belongs in a science fiction movie. But for decades, millions of people believed this actually happened. A missing aircraft, a mysterious landing, a terrified pilot, and one question: did a passenger plane really travel through time? Or was this one of the greatest aviation myths ever created? Welcome to Codex, where we decode mysteries, separate facts from fiction, and uncover the truth hidden behind unbelievable stories. The story begins on July 2nd, 1955. According to the legend, a Douglas DC-4 aircraft, operated by Pan American World Airways, took off from New York, heading towards Miami. On board were passengers and crew members expecting nothing more than a normal journey. The aircraft was reliable, the route was common, everything seemed completely ordinary, until the aircraft disappeared. No emergency message, no distress call, no confirmed crash site. The plane simply vanished. Search teams reportedly looked for the missing aircraft, but no trace was ever discovered. Eventually, the aircraft became another unsolved mystery, lost in aviation history. But decades later, something unbelievable was about to happen. On May 21, 1992, a strange aircraft reportedly appeared near Caracas International Airport in Venezuela. Air traffic controllers noticed something unusual. There was an aircraft approaching, but their radar systems showed nothing. The plane was visible in the sky, but according to the story, it didn't exist on their screens. Then the control tower received a radio transmission. A pilot was requesting permission to land. The controller asked for the aircraft identification. The response shocked everyone. The pilot claimed he was flying Flight 914, but there was one problem. The pilot wasn't asking to land in Caracas. He believed he was approaching Miami. The controller informed him, "You are not in Miami. You are in Caracas, Venezuela." The pilot was confused. How could this be possible? The distance between Miami and Caracas was thousands of kilometers away. But the strangest part was still unknown. According to the legend, the pilot had no idea that the year had changed. For him, only a few hours had passed since takeoff. But outside the aircraft, nearly 4 decades had disappeared. When the pilot was told the year was 1992, panic reportedly filled the cockpit. The crew had no explanation. The world they knew had moved forward without them. Eventually, the aircraft was allowed to land, and when airport workers saw the plane, they were shocked. The aircraft looked like a machine from another time. While modern planes surrounded the runway, this aircraft appeared to belong to the past. Workers couldn't understand how such an old aircraft had appeared at the airport. Then came the final mysterious detail. According to the story, before leaving again, the pilot accidentally dropped something from the cockpit. A small piece of evidence. Something that supposedly proved where the aircraft came from. A calendar. A calendar from the year 1955. And then, just as mysteriously as it appeared, the aircraft took off. After that moment, Flight 914 was never seen again. For many people, this became proof that something impossible had happened. A plane had crossed time itself. But before we accept one of the strangest aviation stories ever told, there is one question we need to ask. Where is the evidence? When investigators started looking deeper into the story, the first problem appeared almost immediately. Aviation history keeps detailed records. Every commercial flight, every accident, every missing aircraft, especially an aircraft carrying dozens of passengers that supposedly disappeared for decades. But when researchers searched through official aviation records, something strange appeared. There was no confirmed record of a Pan American flight called Flight 914 disappearing in 1955. No accident investigation, no passenger list, no official search report, no government documentation, nothing that would prove this event ever happened. And this created the biggest question of all. If Flight 914 really vanished, why did history forget one of the greatest aviation mysteries ever recorded? A disappearance of this scale would not have been a small event. It would have become one of the most famous aviation mysteries in history. But the evidence simply wasn't there. Then came another problem. The science behind the story. Many people claimed that Flight 914 had entered a time portal, or traveled through time. But could a normal aircraft actually do that? According to modern physics, time can behave differently under extreme conditions. Objects moving close to the speed of light can experience time differently. The powerful gravity near extremely massive objects can also affect time. But the aircraft in this story was a Douglas DC-4, a plane designed decades ago. Its speed was nowhere close to the conditions required for such an effect. And Earth has no known phenomenon capable of sending a passenger plane decades into the future. So, scientifically, the time travel explanation doesn't work. But if the plane didn't travel through time, then how did this story become so famous and into the world of sensational newspapers? The story of Flight 914 can be traced back to a publication called Weekly World News. In 1985, this American tabloid published an article describing the mysterious aircraft that supposedly disappeared in 1955 and returned decades later. But there was something important about this newspaper. It was not known for traditional journalism. It was famous for publishing unbelievable stories designed to shock and entertain readers. Stories about strange creatures, aliens, impossible discoveries, and bizarre events that sounded real but had no evidence behind them. Flight 914 became one of those stories. Over time, the article was copied and shared again and again. Each time it was repeated, more people forgot where it originally came from. Eventually, a fictional newspaper story started being treated as a real historical event. But there was another clue hidden inside the story itself. Different versions of the Flight 914 article contained different details. Even the images used for the supposed witnesses changed between versions. The photographs were not proof of the event. They were simply unrelated images, used to make the story look more convincing. And this is how many myths are created. A small fictional idea, repeated thousands of times, until people stop asking, "Is this true?" and start asking, "How is this possible?" The internet made the story even more powerful. With dramatic music, mysterious narration, and realistic-looking visuals, Flight 914 found a new generation of believers online. Millions watched videos about the mysterious aircraft. Many viewers never checked the original source. And fascinating stories are often easier to remember than boring facts. Today, the story of Flight 914 continues to appear across the internet. New videos are created, new articles are written, and every time the story is shared, it becomes a little more mysterious. But when we remove the drama and look at the evidence, the truth becomes clear. There is no verified record of a Pan-American Flight 914 disappearing in 1955. There is no evidence that a Douglas DC-4 landed in Caracas after being missing for 37 years. There is no confirmed calendar from the aircraft, and there is no scientific explanation that supports the idea of a passenger plane traveling through time. The mystery was never inside the sky. It was inside the story itself. A fictional tale created decades ago became one of the internet's most famous legends, and that is what makes Flight 914 fascinating, not because a plane traveled through time, but because a story traveled through generations. It moved from a newspaper page, to magazines, to websites, and finally to millions of screens around the world. It reminds us of something important. In the age of the internet, information travels faster than ever, but speed does not always mean truth. A story can have dramatic visuals, a convincing voice, thousands of shares, and millions of views, but that doesn't automatically make it real. Sometimes the biggest mysteries are not the ones we cannot explain. Sometimes they are the ones we never stop to question. So the next time you see a shocking story online, a mysterious discovery, or an unbelievable event, ask yourself one simple question. Where is the evidence? But curiosity without investigation can make us believe almost anything. And that is why here at S-Codex, we don't just tell mysteries, we decode them. If you enjoyed uncovering the truth behind Flight 914, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves mysteries, and subscribe to S-Codex. Because every mystery has a code. And here on S-Codex, we decode it.